Hey everyone, I wanted to welcome you to another webinar focusing on stride, and today I wanted to focus on how do you know you have recovered from a workout. And I wanted to take a power-based analysis of recovery and when to know and not guess that you've nailed the previous workout and are ready for more. So I know this is a huge issue within the training communities. When do you know that you fully recovered or whether you've recovered from a workout so that you can apply more stress? Proper training is all about stress management, applying the right amount of stress at the right amount of time without overdoing it. So recovery is huge. You need to know if you've recovered from a workout or not. Now, ways to measure recovery. You have the rate of perceived exertion, or RPE. So do you feel your legs are sluggish? Are you breathing heavy? Do you feel fatigue? Do you feel mental lethargy? Is your heart rate suppressed or raised and does not budge? So I know there have been plenty of times where I've gone out for a run and I can't get my heart rate above 140, which is really low for me. But there's also been times where I've been where it hasn't been suppressed, but it's been overly. I've woken up and my resting heart rate is 65 beats per minute, which for me is very high. Also, there's pace. Is your pace slower, especially for a given effort? Are you, trying very hard to go faster, but your legs aren't cooperating, and you're still going your slow pace or slower? Your cadence might be lower, so you're dragging your feet. Do you feel the feel of your muscles? Are they slower and sluggish? And then, of course, you got two new ones, heart rate variability. You can take that one on your phone. There's different apps for that. I don't do that every single day. I might get into that, but for this PowerPoint, I'm not going to focus on that. But that is one way to measure recovery, is to measure your sympathetic nervous system. And then, of course, if you're really high-tech, going for the C-reactive proteins and measuring your blood, and if you have a lot of C-reactive proteins in your bloodstream, that which are produced by the liver, that means you haven't recovered. But I also want to introduce a new way to measure recovery. So what about power? Is there a way to see if you're ready for more exercise based on your power readings? So this is my Saturday long run. This is the run that I did on Saturday. And if we take a look, it was a 16-mile run. And I did in 151, and the whole entire workout, it was a 1.5 mile warm-up. And from there, I did 14 miles of a quarter mile at zone 3 pace, and then the rest of the mile at zone 2, and then did that 14 times. So you can see here my power is pretty steady all the way through. Heart rate raised a little bit as I got dehydrated towards the end, and then of course as my pace changed, so did my minutes per mile. So that's kind of a snapshot, and you can see it was pretty taxing. It was 136.7 TSS, and if we go over to my power stride file, it's about the same thing for my RSS. Intensity factor was up there. So overall, it was a taxing workout. So how did I recover on Sunday? So I woke up on Sunday, and this is my power readings from Sunday's workout. I went for a 7-mile run, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. I did that in 151 with an average of 265 power and a 724 pace. So I marked it as an easy run in my power center file and an RPE of 5. So let's break this down. So in this run, my RPE was 5. So let's check that box off. I felt good. I felt mentally awake. I felt fine. But that doesn't always mean that I'm recovered. I have a tendency to kind of override my internal systems and not listen to my body and push it when I'm not supposed to. And that's led to overuse injuries in the past, a stress fracture or two, and me burning out. If we looked at my heart rate, my pace was average. That's my average easy race. But was this because I chose a less hilly route? A lot of the miles were downhill, so I was able to go faster. So was this because of the hills and the terrain that I was able to average a faster pace compared to my other runs? And also my heart rate was low. Was that because I was fatigued and my heart rate was suppressed and hadn't recovered, or was it the temperature? Or if you go with the kind of the Maffetone approach, was it because I was getting fitter that I had a low heart rate? So all of these things, it leads you. They're good indicators, but they're not a very good they're not a very good estimate of whether you truly have recovered. That's why I like to add in power. So this is power's effect. So heart rate, if we compare, once we add in the power component, let's take a look at what all the other metrics fit into place. So let's set heart rate versus power. So heart rate versus power is high for the given heart rate. So if we flip back to my previous workout, for that average, being able to hold a low heart rate, that's pretty darn good. I was able to produce more watts without raising my heart rate. So that's a good sign that I'm not laboring to produce watts. Also, if you look at your pace for the power, so if we look back before, 724 pace, for 265, that's a good wattage for that pace. That's about average for where I've been, if not a little bit high. And then we also have these two new metrics that have come about because of power. Efficiency, or EI, efficiency index. Is it back to where it is typically, or was it lower? And we're going to look at that in the next slide. And then also we have this leg spring stiffness, thanks to stride and the power center. And that literally means kind of like a spring. If you have a stiffer leg springness, your legs are able to rebound more quickly. So I like to compare it to the sluggish feeling. So if you have a very low leg spring stiffness, that means you are bouncing way back and forth like a spring. But if you have a tight, that means you're able to make quick movements. You have the energy to make quick movements. So let's take a look, and this is, I pulled this up from my Google spreadsheet, so if you check out my previous webinar on Stride, I show a Google Doc. This is just a snapshot from there. So let's look at and see if I can come to a firm conclusion that I have recovered. So my efficiency index, EI, is 0.82. With an efficiency factor, now that's your normalized power versus your heart rate. Both of those are normal for me. The efficiency factor was a bit low, but my efficiency index, how much watts compared to my speed am I producing for the speed I'm going, that is typical. I'm typically about 0.8, 0.1, so that's right on. Watts per kilogram, which is this, looks fine. Flight time, which is this right here is actually what percentage of my total wattage goes to pushing me forward versus other 31%. That's average. My heart rate, a bit low, but we've talked about that before. And then also my power, normalized power, so those were a little bit high for a normal run. And then if we look at my leg spring stiffness, 12.5, that's actually a lot higher than what it typically is. And that right there shows, given all these other metrics, that yeah, I'm pretty darn recovered. And I think just if you put all of those puzzle pieces together, it shows a clearer picture of whether you should and are able to return to your normal training load. So overall, conclusions and summary, I think it's time for coaches to reconsider traditional metrics of recovery. Power provides, in my opinion, a fuller picture of recovery and contextualizes the other metrics such as pace and heart rate. It's definitely not the only metric, but gives color to everything else. And overall, one last point, I think no matter what the numbers say, you need to listen to your body and your mind. If your mind and body says you're feeling like junk, then you need to listen to that and know numbers, whether they're HRV off an app or whether they're power numbers off your watch or whether it's your pace and time. Overall, you need to listen to your body. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you have found some benefit and you can apply some of these ideas to your own training. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can go to my website at braveheartcanada.com. And send me an email there. I'm also on Facebook. I'm active in the Stride community, so feel free to reach out if you have any questions, comments. Love to hear how your training is going and how you are improving on the run. Hope you have a great day and continue to train hard.